Round 1 of the GT World Challenge Sprint Cup was recently held at Brands Hatch, the second event on the GT World Series European calendar. And that means it's time for another Pole Lap Challenge, a series this year where I take on the best lap time from each of the GT World Series rounds and see if we can't beat it in the car that set the lap time. Now, for the second event in a row, the top time fell to the number 48 Mercedes-Benz AMG GT3. And it's safe to say that I'll be needing to find quite the improvement on my previous best lap time at Brands Hatch if we're going to take this pole position. But after coming oh so close at Paul Ricard in this car, I was optimistic that this would be possible. Let's jump out on track and see how close we can get. So let's get out of the lane here and set the scene for this pole lap challenge, my second iteration in 2025. As you can see, 55 minutes of time on the clock there to try and set this pole lap, and the pole position lap time I'm chasing is a 1 minute 23.240 set by Maro Engel in the second of the two qualifying sessions at Brands Hatch. Now, these sprint format races are a little bit different. Two races in the weekend, both with separate 10-minute qualifying sessions and far less practice time than the Endurance Cup. So with the two drivers that are in this car, each would have theoretically 55 minutes of time in the car up until the end of qualifying. So we are under more time pressure than in round 1 of the Endurance Cup. And similar to Paul Ricard, Brands Hatch is far from my best circuit in ACC. So this will be quite the challenge to try and find a good 7/10 over my best lap times here at this circuit. And we're going to start off proceedings here with a 1 minute 25.270 over 2 seconds to find here in the next 51 minutes and 40 seconds. Now, the trickiness of Brands Hatch certainly comes down to its layout. It's a very traditional old school circuit with no runoff and quite an undulating circuit as well, lots of blind apexes. So to drive this circuit on the limit requires you to use every single millimeter of available racetrack. Certainly corners here like turn 9 were playing a lot of trouble for me, and this was going to be a common occurrence over the very first part of my challenge. Of course, things were going to start to improve as we started to figure some of these corners out. Now, my only other experience in the Mercedes-Benz was from the first challenge I did at Paul Ricard, but I did learn a lot about that car in that time, so I was trying to really piece that all together. You can see this lap here with 40 minutes and 8 seconds to go. We are a couple of tenths up already through the first sector, and I knew that there was going to be a lot of big chunks of time to find in all of these corners. Now, turn 5 was also causing me some dramas. The car was quite loose on entry there. However, on this lap, we are going to come through for an improvement, getting ourselves down into the 1 minute 24s, down to a 1 minute 24.525. 38 minutes to go though, and you can see the dramas I was having here at turn 5. The car was really nervous on the rear as I turned into the corner, so we definitely made some adjustments to the Go Setups eSports qualifying setup that I was using with this car, really just to try and settle it down a little bit for that turn 5 and really up here into turn 9 as well. These were tricky little corners, and once I was able to feel a little bit more confident really pushing into those corners, they were blind entries there, that was really starting to make some big improvements for me. See here, we're nearly 4 tenths up on this particular lap, getting ourselves down to a low 1 minute 24, and we're closing in on what is my best lap time at this track so far. Another stint now, 25 minutes and 40 seconds left on the clock, and this was probably the part of the challenge where I really started to believe that this lap time could be possible. You see, we get up here to turn 2, Druids Corner, and we're going to gain a couple of tenths just in this one hairpin alone, pushing down towards turn number 3, and we go a little bit too hot here, run wide and pick up a track cut, but theoretically 3 tenths of time is available there in that first sector alone. Now 18 minutes and 40 seconds left on the clock. I'm going to come through and show you the first full lap of the session, but I feel like I was starting to get a lot closer. Hard on the brakes here down into turn 1, patient for the exit, not getting that one particularly nice, and then up the hill here again to Druids, hitting the braking marker just around the shadow there of the bridge, taking the hairpin on the throttle as early as we dare, and then again down into turn 3, getting over that curve, not too much, unsettles the car on the inside there, and then this very awkward turn 4, you sort of brake, point to the middle of the road, patience as we come around here, a funny bump on the inside. It was a super tricky corner to get right and to get it consistently right. Down the straight here up towards turn number 5. Now I was using 4th gear through this corner and found it was a very fine line between coming in too slow and being bogged down on the exit, or coming in too hot and losing the rear. Down through turn 6 using a bit of that exit curb there. Up to turn 9, blind apex, trying to get over the curb as much as we can. Don't do a very good job at that particular lap and lose quite a bit of an advantage, but nice exit out of turn 10 here with one final corner to go, and again it's just an off camber over the brow, this final corner. You want to get on the power as early as possible, use all that track on the outside, particularly when you watch the guys do it in real life. They're just using every single millimetre of track, picking up heaps of dust as well. But we come across the line a 1 minute 23.780, not a perfect lap, but certainly in the ballpark as we come up to Druids here in this lap. You see already a couple of tenths up, 3 tenths up on that lap already, and unfortunately not going to get it right here through turn 3, losing all of that advantage, but it was just starting to feel like it was possible, and that lap time particularly was a record time for me in any car at any time here at Brands Hatch. So 8 minutes 55 seconds to go. We're inside the qualifying time now of the GT World Challenge Sprint Series, that 10-minute time frame that they would have had to qualify in real life. So the pressure is on here to try and put together this lap time. Theoretically, I'm very close on all the purple sectors, and we'll talk about that at the end as well, but I needed to put it all together, which was the really hard part about Brands Hatch being such a tricky circuit. Getting all those corners together into a single lap in just this 1 hour period in a car I'm not familiar with was the real challenge of this whole process. So we're coming up to turn number 5 here. I've lost a little bit of time through the second part of that first sector. Big slide here through turn 4. Very slow on the exit coming up to turn 6, and just showing how hard it is again to put all those sectors together, all those corners together. Just a tiny mistake there, losing all of the advantage I'd gained to that point. Through turn 9 down towards turn number 10 here. We're going to get ourselves about a tenth, not quite a tenth on the exit, but losing it a bit too aggressive on acceleration, running over that exit curb, and get a nice final corner here to go a little bit of an improvement. We're going to be up towards a 10th improvement, not quite, and that's going to bring us down to a 1 minute 23.647. Getting closer, 7 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock. Is this going to be possible to get here at Brands Hatch today? And to be fair, as that clock ran down, I was really starting to feel the pressure of it. You see here, not driving the car nicely through turn number 5, and here with 5 minutes and 40 seconds to go, just trying to overdrive the car here once again at turn 4, getting onto that exit curb, big slide there, giving away that lap as well. My one saving grace was the big moment that I had at turn 5 on my quick lap so far. So that was a corner I knew that there would be time in every one of these laps, and if I could get those corners right, I would even make up even this deficit here of 3 tenths as we come up towards that turn 5 and potentially get an improvement here in the last few minutes. Getting that corner much nicer, much better exit. See that time dropping through turn 6 and the kink here at 7. It's down there within a tenth of the best lap, so you can just see how much time was available in just those corners alone coming through turn number 9. However, not enough on that lap to make an improvement. Coming up here towards the first turn, good braking marker there for that one, but just getting on the throttle a little bit too early, losing quite a bit of the advantage that I had. And then here, 18 seconds left on the clock here, my final lap, overdriving the car once again at turn 4, and that will be the end of that one. No chance of improving there, being 4 tenths down, and a bit of a shame. I think that the pressure of the clock makes this the challenge that it is. I really prefer to jump on and try and make that challenge just like the real drivers would have time-wise in the real car in the real race weekend, but I needed just a bit more time here in the sim to put that one together. Coming through these final corners here to finish off this lap and finish off this session. It's overall though a really big improvement for me. A 6:47 of 23.647 is my best lap time here now at Brands Hatch, and once again driving an unfamiliar car has taught me a lot about how to extract speed in ACC, and is overall such a great experience to have. Totally recommend, once again, all you guys try this. Use a different car, give yourself a challenge, you learn a heap. But the story of this one is that optimal time there as I pull that ACC drive feature over. 1 minute 23.315 is the sum of all of my purple sectors from that session. So quite close to that pole position time, but realistically needing to put it all together on track, not quite doing it here today. So once again, we have fallen short of claiming the pole position here at GT World Challenge round at Brands Hatch, but it's all positives though, with another personal best at a circuit through trying out a challenge like this. Let me know in the comments what you thought of that lap. What's your best lap time at Brands Hatch? Would you have claimed a pole position here? It's certainly a tricky track, very traditional. You really need to know it inside out, and I've certainly learnt a lot. I just probably needed another half hour or so to try and nail that lap in its entirety. Now, if you want to catch up on that first round, there's a link to that video in the description, and subscribe if you want to see more of this content, because the next round coming from Zandvoort Raceway in the Netherlands is coming very soon. An event that I will in fact be at, which I'm very excited to see these cars in the flesh for the first time in 2025. A 41 car field, which will be super exciting. Race hard, stay positive. We'll see you again soon in another video. Cheers.